Greetings. Good to see you. We're heading for the Labyrinth, but first I have to stop by the house and lay out a few preliminary cards for you. So see you in a minute. So today is 4/11/2020. That will translate into 4, 11, and 1. So, time to see what archetypal forces are behind this reading and how they work together. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there they are. Good beginning for today. So, benevolence abounds, apparently. Let's just say that very quickly, reading from here to here. We've got the willingness to step out into the unknown with a really positive spin on things, positive outlook, a brilliant vision of what potentially can be there on a journey. And then the sun comes in and goes, boom, I'm smiling on that move, make the move. And that leads to an interesting connection with one's spirit, highlighted by the divine feminine approach to power and stability and an orientation to the world. And if we look at the sun as a hinge point, that these two outer cards can hinge around that, then what we have is making this kind of move where you step off with this in mind. You step off with maybe not knowing, but in fact, having an inkling that this is where you're going. You go into a position of feminine strength. Not necessarily using the word feminine, but the strength that's built upon an inner knowledge, an inner security, a willingness to nurture and be nurtured. Notice her bare foot here is firmly planted on the earth, being nurtured by the earth, and in turn, providing the strength of that nurturing out into the world. So let's see how that plays out with the rest of the reading, which will begin right now. Hi. So I think I'm going to do this a lot because it's just perfect. It feels right. And you may be able to spy the labyrinth behind me. So I did a walking meditation for this reading in there right before coming over here and sitting down. And yeah, it tunes you up. So like I said, I am going to do this more and more, this kind of thing, and I'll present from out here. But today's the first day, so please be patient with glitches and the learning curve and all that. Okay, thank you. After I did the layouts at home, I came out here, and so I had laid out the archetypal energies that are going to surround this reading, and then I did the layout of what I'm hoping will become familiar to you, which is my standard layout for the divine feminine and the divine masculine, to show a balance, to show a relationship, to show combined forces and how things work together and all that. And I guess the first thing that struck me when I did that layout was, wow. I mean, it is all about, and you'll be probably looking at it because I'm going to have it sitting there in the corner while we talk. But you're going to see that it's like chock full of pentacles. So, and how it hit me, the way the pentacles are speaking in this way, our relationship with the physical and the material world. And obviously, that's a big one right now. And I found it fascinating that in reviewing what I said about the archetypal forces, that obviously it's taking some new steps, i.e., in fact, let me just hold this up here. So we've got taking some new steps, walking off into the unknown. We've got the sun shining on it. But here, and this is what I wanted to bring out, was, I talked about strength and her being firmly attached to the earth. So with all the pentacles showing up when I did my meditation, I realized that in order to feel connected with something, strongly connected, like in the case of strength, we have to trust it. And right now, with the earth in the situation and in the condition it's in, there's a lot not to trust. But I think that's the elegance of this whole the reading, because it's saying that should you take that blind leap or walking off the edge of the cliff into the unknown, that from a certain perspective of faith, you can trust it. You can trust that what's waiting for you is, in fact, benevolent and, in fact, awesome. And it leads me to believe that where we connect with the earth in the future, should we play these cards, and I don't mean these cards, these tarot cards, but I mean, should we play our cards in a certain way, that we stand to be stronger than we were before, not as a knee-jerk reaction kind of a strength or something that came from getting bashed around, but that setting intentions and consciously walking a certain path through this unknown territory leads to the kind of strength that will make the future very different from the present. So let's get into the nuts and bolts here and we'll go quickly through this. That was my point. I've made it. We're done. So the way I do this is that the top line is the divine feminine line. The middle line is the divine masculine line. And the bottom line has specific cards in specific positions to reflect the blending of the upper two lines. So this can relate to you as an individual, the balance of forces within you, the balances of your energies. Or it can also refer to the balance of your energy with whomever, with your partner, with your children, with the people at your office. And that's the way I want to approach it today. And let's take a look. So we're starting out with a top line that goes the Six of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and Ace of Pentacles. And especially with strength being the feminine strength, the strength that will allow someone to open the mouth of a lion without using force, is leading the charge as far as I'm concerned, especially since the divine feminine is showing pentacles on either side of the Queen of Cups. So I think that the Queen of Cups wants to bring in the kind of cognizance and perception of things that are perhaps hidden, things that perhaps are more the outlook and the wherewithal, the orientation of ourselves with our outer world from the inside, which is the Queen being in a hinged position. She stands between Six of Pentacles, which can be a very sharing and caring kind of attitude, kind of approach, with, on the other side of the Queen of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles. It's implying to me that the Six of Pentacles has been good. It's served us well. Our ability to give and receive love, our ability to give and receive of the benefits of what we achieve or acquire through life on the planet Earth, that's worked very well. It's served us well. However, on the other side of that Queen is an Ace of Pentacles. And that being a way to walk through a portal into a new something, a new approach, a new perspective, a new orientation to our world. And that's really powerful for me. And I want to go now to the divine masculine and talk about how that relates to where is the masculine input. Well, it's pretty interesting that there's a 10 of Pentacles that starts this line. And that 10 of Pentacles could be the ending of what we saw up in the Six of Pentacles in the feminine. So that in this case, one's divine masculine energy, whether it be the masculine partner, the masculine force within each of us, will play the reminding factor here that there's a completion. Something is ending that could be reflected in that Ace of Pentacles we just talked about as something that's also beginning anew. And then we have a creative force that enters in. Now, if we want to talk about the Queen of Cups being above this Three of Pentacles, then that can create, when combined together and blended and woven together in a particular fashion, it can lend itself to really a heads-up operation in terms of how do we enter a new phase. You bring it. You bring the creativity, but you bring the creativity with the heart in mind. The Queen of Cups, the patient nurturer of love and cups and all the feelings that go along with that, with a creative approach. What do we get? Well, we get what we get. And that can easily be the Ace of Pentacles. Now, the masculine, however, has to be the bearer here of some consideration. And that consideration is the Eight of Swords. Somebody or some part of us might have some doubts. It's fine. I mean, it's not brain surgery or anything to understand that we have doubts. That's where the Queen, I believe, in the feminine comes through again as a strong reminder. Not a reminder with beating you over the head with it, like you don't need to do that, but a reminder that all will be well. All will be well. And then we have the last line. It's the situation. Second card is the challenge. Third card is our strength or our asset. Fourth card is actions we can take. So we start out with the Two of Pentacles, a choice, a balancing act. And of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, we're heading towards things where we could have said as a collective, we could have said no in former times when we're footloose and fancy free, can go wherever we want, whenever we want, behave in fashions that can be destructive or threatening to others. And now we can't. We are forced into staying home, maintaining distance between our physical presence and our neighbor's physical presence for safety, for health. And so our choices are being forced into our lap. So that's the situation. It does not surprise me. But then our challenge is the Page of Pentacles, and that's a fascinating way to bring ways that we need to vend this movement, because individual, or let's say we're making some Ace of Pentacles kinds of moves in our lives, they are going to either be our personal changes or our partnership changes, the way we, as a partnership with our spouse or whatever, walk into the world from now on. But it doesn't end there, it doesn't. I mean, we know we're part of the collective. And how does that translate here? Well, it can be challenging to bring more people into the fold of a certain type of activity or a certain type of way to approach life, and especially life in the future of our world. So, communication. And the page is just reminding us that keep that doorway open. Remain in this time that wants to shut us down in many ways. Staying flexible is a good counter move to when something is a challenge. It takes courage, yes, and we've got that. Our strength now, here is the Three of Pentacles again. Well, that for me is like a qualifying card on what we saw above, that if we wanted to zone in on those upper two lines and which out of those 6 cards is pointing the directions, it's the Ace of Pentacles. And to get there takes this creativity. So although what's interesting to me here is that although the feminine energy carries that sacred patience of being able to hold what we've got in a heartful way through this process and this experience that the masculine is the one who holds this strength, which is the Three of Pentacles. And so I would say that the Queen of Cups approach is certainly important, but that has to be combined with the creativity that lends itself to a future that contains an outcome that we intend rather than one that we just receive and didn't have our intentions combined or our intentions in mind. Last but not least, what can we do about it? Well, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and he's telling me that we do want to walk into this like a knight, walk in with valor, walk in with confidence, with your nobility in place. But remember that the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of all the knights. Take your time. Do it well. Do it completely. And that pretty much brings an end to this. But I like it. I mean, I believe that the sun, which is on the archetypal hinge point, does smile on all of the behaviors that lend themselves towards something that is better than it was before. And that's where we're going. Thank you. See you next time.